Today on the workbench I have another Bachmann B&O, and this is basically the same model as the last steam engine I did. This gentleman wanted two of them. I can't remember if the numbers are the same or not, but this is basically going to be an identical install, and so we'll run through this real quick. So I've got the locomotive separated already. We'll go ahead and turn this thing over, and it's going to be the same components: TCS WOWSteam decoder, a TCS KA2 Keep Alive 28mm Soundtraxx speaker, and we'll put it on a it's going to be a Nix Decoder Buddy, one of the minis. So we'll have that. Let's get started on this, and I'll zoom you in here a little bit. If you'll remember to take this apart, we have one screw here in the right behind this front truck. So there's our screw. Set that out of the way. Then we just have these two little clips back here in the back. This will pull right off. And sometimes these get a little tricky, but that one didn't. So there's no rear lights. There's one front light. I'm not going to upgrade it. The speaker will go here in the under the coal load. We push that clip out, and the coal load separates. So we'll be drilling a series of holes in that. So we'll set that off to the side. And we can go ahead and start our disassembly. Pull these two small screws out and we'll reuse those. That comes right off. And I'll do like I do every time. I'll leave all these connected and then go through them as I get to them. So let's get out our Decoder Buddy, and we'll get started. Okay, if I can get my chair moved around here. Let's see. So as usual, our Decoder Buddy will fit right there on the factory mounts. So we'll get this front screw started in here. And we'll get this rear one in. So there's that. And that fits in there quite nicely. Now we can go ahead and we'll start with our rear pickup here. Just cut that off. Get out. We'll go ahead and put flux on all of this. track pickups, we'll need our positive and our ground for the Keep Alive. And then for our motor. And then we'll have our track pickups up front and our light. And then our speaker. So I'm just going to go ahead and tin all these up right now. That way I won't have to keep going back to that. No, I'll zoom down on that a little more. So we've got our solder out. This way I can clean the whole board off too when I get done. Okay, so there's that. Break out a Q-tip here. Okay. So we're all good there. Now we can start with our wiring. Let's see now. And I think I do each one of these a little different. And I know, so I had a red here on the back, and then coming off of the tender I have, or the Locomotive, this wire's black. But they were hooked to the same terminal here. So we'll go ahead and pull that one off. And we'll get him all hooked up. So that one will go up here in the front. On the same side. get some flux on these two wires. Nope, forgot to shorten that one up a little bit. Just to save that much space where I don't have to get rid of that wire. Or maneuver it around anyway. So there's that. Get our tweezers. There's that. There's that one. Pull you over in the frame a little better. Now we'll go back. We'll get our other pickup here, or other two pickups. This one I will cut off. Strip the wire out on it. Okay, then we can flux both of these up, and I may have to zoom the camera back out. Maybe not. Go ahead and tin that up. Tin that one. And then go ahead and that on our Decoder Buddy. This one here will run underneath the board. Of course, it doesn't have to, but I've got enough wire there that I can. So there's that one. That's our wiring for our pickups. I'm going to shove all this underneath. That way I have room mount my KA2 right there, I mean. This is for my light, and this is for the motor. So let's go ahead. Cut both of these off. And I'm not going to have to put a resistor in this. This is an incandescent bulb. So I won't have to worry about that. So we'll go ahead and zoom out on that a little bit. There's one and two. We can hook up our lights, and since these are incandescent, it doesn't matter. Okay. Now the only thing left we have is our motor. We'll get our board out of the way. These are just barely long enough to fit, so I'm not going to have to add any to them, but I'll just strip the end off just a little bit. I mean, I could always add to it if I needed to, but so that's tinned. And I've got a 50-50 shot at hooking this up the right way. So I mean, if I don't get it hooked up the right way, it's no big deal. I can make a CV change, or I can come back in and just move the wire. There's our motor hooked up. Got our wires all nice and neat in there. Get out the Keep Alive. there's our Keep Alive, and like I always do, break out the alcohol here, clean up where I'm going to put it, and then I'll clean up the Keep Alive itself. And I'll secure it down with double-sided tape. Get out my small little scissors. Then we can stick that right to the bottom of the Keep Alive. Peel that off. So there we are with our Keep Alive mounted. Go ahead and wire it up. Cut those off. Trim them up. Get my scissors out of the way. Wires are fluxed. Then we'll go ahead and tin them and solder them down. And our blue is our positive. So there's our yep. Okay, it's stuck. I didn't think it did. There's our ground. All right. The only thing we have left to do there is we need to put our speaker in. So we'll go ahead and of course I'll drill a series of holes. Let me just get this thing out here, show you how I do this again. We'll get our speaker out. So there's that. This is the front of the coal load. Of course, it really doesn't matter at this particular time. But what I end up doing is all. Mark this just so I have an idea of where I can, and I can't even see that at all. Okay, now I've got a line in there I can see. But I'm going to go ahead and drill holes in this, and I'll be back because I know you don't want to see me drilling holes. So, okay, I've got my 70 holes drilled in this, and by zooming in on it you can see it, but looking right down at it you can't hardly see that. So what I need to do now is get that out of the way. I'm going to put some wire up the speaker here. So I can get out some zoom out. Get this ready to go. There's one end. There's the other. I'm taking, use these other two pads. And I will be taking I'll use hot melt glue to fasten the speaker in. Go ahead and cut that off. Just kind of tack this down for this second. Now we can go all the way around. All right. All right, now before I put that in, I'll let this, well, I'm gonna let this dry or cool down. But before I put that on the locomotive or on the tender, I am going to take and test, make sure I got my direction going in the right way. So I'll be back. Okay, we're back here. It tests out good, right direction. Okay, now we're going to go ahead and put our speaker in the tender. First I want to take, I'm going to cut this little nub off here. That way it won't interfere with the speaker. We can run our wires down through. Make sure that's in place. Okay, now I want to strip these off. Get some flux on them, and then we can tin them up. And this install will be complete. There's that one. There's that one. Get them on our speaker pads. Now all we have to do is, besides button it up, is put the decoder on it. And believe me, I've buttoned them up before and forgot to snap the decoder in. So, and then wonder why it didn't work. All right. So there's that. Make sure, well, let's get it back here in these. There it's in our slots. Make sure our wires are away from the screw. So there, we're all back together. That's complete. Altogether, that probably took about 35 minutes. Maybe a little longer. But give or take 35, 40 minutes. All right. So when I come back, I'll have you set up on the side view and we can see this thing running. All right, we've got this one sitting down on the test track now. Got the decoder all in. I haven't changed any of the settings, so the chuff will be off. So let me go ahead and plug this in. We'll get it started. So Turn our front headlight on. Hear the dynamo kick on. So we'll let that run there for a minute. Pull it around here. And you can see the headlight. Now that headlight looks dimmer than it actually is. So, but really this was a bare bones installation. About 35 to 40 minutes to do that. And it does run fairly well. So there's no light in the back, so there's no need to show it in reverse. But I will apply the brakes here so we can get it to stop. So alright, that's this project in a nutshell, and we're going to call it complete. Alright, thanks for watching.